Marfoogle TV live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We're going to talk about a lot today. We're going to go over just a ton of what has happened in the last 24 hours. Of course, we're going to touch on the world ahead 2026. Again, every year we have covered that. We just covered it over on Marfoogle News. But first, let's get off into Venezuela. First of all, Trump signs off on possible CIA operations in Venezuela. Translation, Trump signed off on CIA operations in Venezuela. I mean, that's pretty much what this means. Again, we actually saw that they cleared legally, and I thought that they already did this, but now they have officially signed off on these CIA operations. President Donald Trump has given his approval for the CIA to carry out covert operations within Venezuela. The New York Times reported Tuesday. The report comes after the U.S. deployed USS Gerald Ford, America's largest aircraft carrier, to the Caribbean, including 8 other warships. Again, citing multiple people briefed on the matter, the Times reported that the covert operations could lay the groundwork for a potentially more broad military campaign. It says the unnamed sources further said that back-channel negotiations with Venezuela's government have so far failed to produce results. Again, they say that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro offered to step down after a delay of a couple years, but the Trump administration rejected the offer. The White House did not immediately respond to request, which of course they're not going to. Heck, the reporters can't even walk around the Pentagon anymore. Of course they're not going to comment on something like this. We're going to talk about this and much, much more on today's episode of Marfoogle TV via Marfoogle News. We'll be right back. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? We have so many great people here. Renee, Maggie, thank you. Of course, now we have Aaron Perrault, member, back to Common Sense, Sarcastic John Guerra, Michael Kozlow, thank you for gifting all of those folks memberships. I appreciate that. Jan T, Becky Jolie. We have Bobby Sue modding in the house. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Again, Kim O'Donnell in the house. Thank you for being here. Marfoogle Bar and Brewing in Olympia, Washington is in the house. Thank you, guys. Love to see so many old school names and new names in here. Like Michigan Lifestyle, of course, been here for a long time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And then let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so let's go into one of the next big stories here, which is Taiwan buys $500 million worth of air defense.
Yeah, so Taiwan has bought an air defense system worth $500 million to fend off potential Chinese invasion. The state-of-the-art system made by the American company Raytheon will provide ground-based medium-range air protection used to destroy incoming aircraft, drones, and cruise missiles, according to the National Advanced Surface Air Missile System, will be central to the future. So that's called the NASAMS. It'll be central to the future defense of Taiwan by enabling the country to track and intercept Chinese cruise missiles and attack drones specifically.
So this is a big step for them. This was a big deal to China as far as this is going to Raytheon. This is going to our U.S. Raytheon. So it is a good thing for overall Raytheon and our country and just money coming in. But this is something that obviously furthers, pisses off China. Whatever side you're on this, it is definitely heating up. As far as we have been told for years now, there have been leaks, there have been Pentagon papers done on this. 2027 is when they guessed this was happen. But now they have Pentagon papers saying that that China has now essentially been building and building and building, developing technology to now the point they are becoming a capable force. This was last night or the night before, from Congress, capable of fighting a war with the U.S. and winning by themselves. So, people didn't see that coming either. This community has seen it for 10 years straight. We've known when you're building that fast and the other side is not, eventually one side is going to catch up. And then NATO fighters were scrambled, air defenses alerted amid a deadly Russian strike in Ukraine. Now, we've been covering all of the different things that are going on here, as they're always trying to put out a peace, sort of narrative that they're trying to talk and they're trying to negotiate. Meanwhile, what you see is NATO is getting prepared for a massive war. NATO fighter jets were scrambled around ground-based air defense systems put on the highest level of alert in Poland and Romania during a massive and deadly overnight Russian attack on targets across Ukraine. So, according to one of the Fugel family members that follows this very, very closely from Ukraine, said it was just absolutely unheard of. They hit targets all over, that a lot of the media is not talking about all of the targets hit. So I don't know what to believe. Again, I don't know that person personally, but it sounded like it was very interesting. It said one drone was reported penetrating some 5 miles into Romanian airspace before being lost on radar. The defense ministry in Bucharest said in a statement, at least 26 people, including 3 little ones, were perished in Russian strikes in the western city of Ternopil. So, again, you've got all of these supposed strikes, and we say supposed because, honestly, the media has been throwing narratives both ways. We have 2 different sides of a world war kind of propaganda campaign going, and all of us as civilians of the world, no matter if we're on allied or adversarial side, we're being told a bunch of lies. So we really have to watch the patterns and see what really makes sense and what's the common denominator of all of this. So, yeah. And before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. Just want to remind you guys that Veterans Day sale is going on. It's 25% off. It is their largest sale in 4 years. This device will protect you against not only an EMP strike from an adversary, but also from a CME or a Carrington level event from the sun. Go to marfuglenews.com/EMP, code MARF. You can put these on your trucks, cars, motorcycles, boats, pretty much anything that you want to keep running. Again, marfuglenews.com/EMP. Thank you, Jan T. Thank you for the super. Thank you. I appreciate that. Drop. Thank you for gifting out 5 badges and gifting other Fugel family member badges. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jan T. Thank you as well for gifting out 5 badges. I appreciate that. And I Drop. I don't know if it almost looks like you sent 10, but Scavi said 20. SC for Coffee, S Coffee sent 20 memberships. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, well, thank you. All right. And then, Dex, let's go into this next piece, which is the plan to speed tanks and armies across Europe in the case of war with Russia.
Yeah, they're preparing. Obviously, we've been talking about this for years. Everything Europe is doing and the countries there are doing, but the EU executive has pledged to ease the red tape to speed up the movement of the European armies and tanks across the continent, describing it as a critical insurance policy for European security. A military mobility plan announced by the European Commission on Wednesday is part of an effort to ensure Europe is ready to defend itself by 2030, in line with warnings from security services that Russia could be able to attack the EU member state within 5 years. 5 years, I kind of laugh. I think they're ready for it now, or they expect it now. They're certainly pointing the finger as if action in this hybrid warfare, as they keep referring to it, is already underway. But if an army sought today to move from Western Europe port to the EU's eastern border with Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, it would encounter significant obstacles and delays, says the EU official. They point to bridges that cannot bear the weight of tanks, railway tunnels that are too small, and track gauges too narrow to accommodate military vehicles, as well as EU paperwork on working time and customs. So at least one EU member state requires 45 days notice for cross-border troop movements. Imagine that. They get attacked and they need to respond. They're like, wait a minute, we got 45 days for you to fill out some paperwork before you can cross our border. But in contrast, the objective of a 3-day border procedure pledged by the EU countries in 2024. So according to EU's auditors, another unnamed member state once denied entry to a convoy of tanks because they violated weight limits in the local road traffic laws. So you can imagine all sorts of municipalities, all the way up to state and government officials having different rules and laws about how they may apply to these different military units marching through or moving through their areas.
Well, we've covered the stories on the bridges, not only across the U.S., but across Europe. Europe has a bigger problem than us, I believe, and that's crazy because the United States is pretty bad on our bridges and our bridges systems, right? If a bridge cannot carry a 60-ton tank, we have a problem. Direct quote. If a runway is too short for a cargo plane, we cannot resupply our crews. Now, one thing I want to point out is a lot of these bridges, the ones that have collapsed, they have found in many of these cases, it's just one little part of that bridge will snap or break. And it's because they design it in the 50s when there's this much traffic and this much weight going across it. And then in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2020s, all of a sudden you have just an unlimited amount of trucks and weight going over it that it was never, ever built for, that they didn't even foresee in the future. So if you have something like this could cause an actual disaster as well. So, yeah. Well, go ahead.
We had bridges here in I know on I-20 coming from Alabama through to Atlanta, because that's the area I'm familiar with. They raised every single bridge, some of them only by like 3 inches, just to meet this new military standard so they can bring equipment through. And that was done over the last few years. And I think it's not just where I live. I think it actually was probably on all of the interstates around the nation, for that matter, where they had this issue. But there was a big bridge raising issue that went down in America for the military.
When we see these kind of movements, man, when we make it, so they purposely say, oh, because we expect that they are going to be ready within 5 years. That's not what any of the Pentagon papers say. That's not what any of the officials say. That's not what Mike Minahan or any of those say. The reason why they say 5 years, and I believe there was a study we covered back in 2023 about if you push things down the road, if you say, oh, something horrible is coming this week, people are totally afraid of that, right? But if you say that it's coming in 5 years, even 1 year down the road, it pushes off that where they're like, oh, I'll worry about that. No pun intended. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But when it's over 5 years out, people do not worry about it. They do not think about it whatsoever. Now, think about that in the terms of 2019 when all of that stuff went down, which it actually does seem like time has gone slow since then. But 2019 was 6 years ago. So in the time since that all went down, heck, it's been 5 years since, almost the end of all of that. So it is crazy how fast time flies. And, they're saying 2030 to make you think, oh, don't worry about it. It's down the road. But that's on purpose. There's always a public narrative. If it goes out to the public, it's going to have a notion to keep the public calm. They never want to panic the public. And in this case, if any of the public in Europe or in the United States actually paid attention like we do, you would see all of the contracts, all of the military stuff that is going on, all of these insane things that are just happening at breakneck speed. And all of them are to catch up to a country that's been doing this the whole time. They are taking away all of the 45-day limits. If you look at the Golden Dome missile, all of the procurement that is going on for that, they have basically cut the bureaucratic red tape so they can get the Golden Dome system ready. The Golden Dome system, really think about this. The Golden Dome system is more for cruise missiles and for regular hypersonic missiles that are coming, not from China, not from some other country, from ships. If you really think about it, the purpose of the Golden Dome to protect the entire United States is a huge and ambitious project. But why are they doing it? We have systems because the systems we have in place, the GBIs, the ground-based interceptors, those are made for the few rogue threats that we have that we do have to worry about. So they worry about North Korea sending a single nuke off, right? If we were worried about Russia or China, it's a whole lot more. Like that's why mutually assured destruction. Well, again, the Golden Dome, they say, might even get rid of that because it will basically make nuclear weapons irrelevant. If that's going to happen by the time he gets out of office, like he says, which every sign points to that's what they're trying to do. They have cut the red tape out of it. They've procured things fast as they can. They're saying that they need it this second. That tells me that is because there is something coming. Now, 2027 is before this president gets out of office. I would think that they would start earlier, and they might even have to make a decision to start this earlier, China, because if we do have that system in place, they will not be able to do much, right? But who knows? He's promising to make the system. Is that system even possible? There's a lot of logistics that go into it, and the money amount, $175 billion, it's definitely going to cost more than that. I'm sure it's going to go way over budget, and we're going to find out later how much. But yeah, this plan to speed tanks and armies across Europe in the case of war with Russia. We've covered so many of these. If you watch every night, you will see they have made the plans in other European countries. They are clearing ways. They're actually making routes. They're making the plans. They put their dragon's teeth up. They have their fences. They have their trenches. They have all of this already. Now they're actually making the plans to get in a short amount of time. We're talking about in a matter of days getting tanks all the way across the country. That to me says that people should really wake up and start paying attention. Angelo Perfelli feels like time is seriously running out now. Well, again, I think that this isn't the end of the world. I think that this is the start of a new one. And I think that a lot of us are going to survive this next war. I don't think it's going to be a nuke war. I think it is going to be a power struggle, and it's going to be cyber attacks. I think it's going to be EMPs. I think it's going to be grid downs. I think they're going to go for the most sensitive areas of our vulnerabilities. I think that we're going to go for theirs. And I think that the most prepared people will actually be a lot more comfortable than the least. And then Zelensky will visit Turkey in a new bid to jumpstart talks to end Russia's invasion. Dex, do you want to go over this and what Zelensky was asking?
On some parts, it's kind of comical. So Zelensky's heading to Turkey to have peace talks with Russia, and Russia's not going. The Kremlin said Russia is not sending anyone to Turkey, and it was not immediately clear if there would be a U.S. participation in the talks. So maybe Zelensky's just taking a trip to Turkey, and in the process saying he wants to use that or use the excuse of trying to find peace. But he is planning, or said he's planning, to meet with Erdogan, President Erdogan there, to discuss, quote, a just peace for Ukraine. But nobody else is showing up. So maybe he's going to Turkey to cry or whine or dine. I don't know, but it's kind of odd.
Maybe it's one of the places he feels okay with wearing a suit. Which, by the way, he's wearing a dress shirt. It's just so crazy that people believe the Ganda that they didn't realize that they were selling an image of Zelensky for years. For 3 years, he wore the same green sweater. It didn't matter if he took a 40-hour flight, then was staying in a 5-star hotel. He just had his 7 green shirts that he was wearing. It's like that's for image, that he's on the front line, that he's the hero. You know, people aren't going to make some guy with a suit their profile picture. They're going to put the war hero, right?
Well, The Economist didn't put him in a suit either for 2026, so maybe he's going to be changing his clothes.
Yeah, again, this is really, really, really crazy. Yeah, they have him in a dress shirt in that, don't they? And thank you.
No, it's fatigues. It's his fatigues.
Oh, you're right. S Coffee, thank you again. I appreciate that. And Speaking of that, thank you. I appreciate that. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. And I'm sure all of the Foogle fam members appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as Russia now using Iranian Shahed 107 drones to strike beyond the front lines. So this is something as well where you have the new uses of this. Russia appears to be using an updated version. So these are the things that we will eventually have to worry about. If we do get into World War, these Shaheds, the new ones, again, are going to be something that are mass produced, cheap to make, and do a whole lot of damage. They say that they're using an updated version of another Iranian-designed drone against Ukrainian forces, according to Ukrainian electronic warfare expert Serhiy Flash Burgastov. Dubbed the Shahed 107, it seems clear that it is intended to provide an affordable means of conducting mid-range precision drone strikes beyond the immediate front lines, filling a major hole in Russian offensive strike capabilities. I like how they say offensive strike capabilities. They have missiles that they have not used. They have a lot of missiles. They have systems comparable to the U.S. in mid-range and long-range. So I think it's kind of, it's telling. They are using the cheapest. They're not using the best. I almost think they could probably wipe out Ukraine. I mean, look at the army of Ukraine. Look at the stuff they have compared to what Russia has. I mean, it's absurd. It's kind of crazy that they've continued this, and I'm assuming because they don't want to destroy all of Ukraine if they want to take it over. But, well, not every detail is known about the Shahed 107. It is a loitering standoff strike munition that can travel a sizable distance and persist over a target before attacking. Its deployment comes as Russia is stepping up its use of lower-end drones with greater endurance than the smaller FPV-like counterparts. So, yeah,
They can produce 6,000 Shahed 136s a month.
Which is
the Russia factory that they set up is.
Wait, say that number again.
To be there's a Russian factory that they established to produce 6,000 Shahed 136s, not these 107s, but the 136, 6,000 per month.
Well, again, I just wonder where our drone production is. Like, how are we on that? You know, are they stocking up on these kind of things? Because this is going to be the next war. We hear about Russia.
We're stocking up on $1 million drones, not, which is crazy. Because, and the 107 they're talking about is smaller, simpler. It's even easier to produce. So if they can do 6,000 136s a month, how many 107s can they produce? And these things loiter, so they can, put it over a target and let it hang out for a while and strike at the right time.
Well, so you realize they're half a year away from having drones like this that are able to go across an ocean, right? The distance has gotten so crazy on these now. So, and you think about the Golden Dome system, right? Specifically in some of the white papers on the Golden Dome, they have stated that essentially, the different missiles that are coming across the planet are one thing, and that radar can track them. You know what radar can't track, and what Golden Dome is supposed to fill in the gaps, is from ship-launched missiles that are fast and that can come in low under the radar. These things, it makes it very obvious what the Golden Dome system is for. It's for ships off our coast firing missiles at us and firing drones like this. You have China making autonomous carriers, autonomous planes. I mean, it's not a coincidence that they tell us China's releasing this huge plane, and they already have their autonomous carrier that has drones like this and smaller and bigger that can just take off autonomously off an autonomous ship that has not a single human being on board. They can roll up with 1,000 of those, or I'm sorry, more like 50 of them, all with 1,000 drones, and then you've got 150,000 drones all across the way, and even if radar could see them, it will be overwhelmed, and we have no defense for that. SAM missiles aren't going to be able to take out 150,000 smaller drones. They even have a plane now. This plane is like a big cargo plane that's going to release out of the sides smaller drones out of it. Everything that China's doing is saying that they want long range, as far as a ship that can go across the ocean and that can actually, fire off a ton of drones, because we don't have the defense systems for these drones yet. We have simple ones. I mean, you look at the guy in the Pope's funeral with the drone gun, and it just looks corny. It looks like a freaking pizza oven. That's an equivalent of most of our defense at some of our bases even. Go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, it's been reported that those Shahed 136s, the larger ones, that they've actually been able to pack 126 of them in a launching container. So a container, like a shipping container, that's launchable. Obviously, you could fit a lot more if you're just stacking them in to transport them, but to transport them in a way that they can launch, 126 in one container.
Yeah, it is obviously something that, we'll be watching, and obviously we follow the productions, the numbers that are coming out of the all of these contracts that are getting handed out right now are getting handed out like there's no tomorrow. All of the deadlines, go look up any contract you see. If you see something pop up on your feed in Google, then go ask, what is the procurement contract for this? Like, have they sped this up? Have they made this for 2026, or have they made it further out? You'll see almost all of this is for the end of 2025, which is in less than a month, or before the end of 2026. So they're at breakneck speed in the US and Europe making all of this, and everybody's excuse is like, oh, well, they're just spending the money they need to spend for the budget. They can order something and hit their Q, their 5%. They can hit that and have buy something that's ready in 9 years. It doesn't have to be ready by next year. There's no requirement for that under those rules. So the fact that they're speeding it up to right now, that says a lot. At least I believe so. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, I love to hear, the other side of the coin, because honestly, I have changed my thoughts many times, and I believe that we're all being lied to, and it, it's better to have 2 heads are better than 1, and 2,000 heads are most definitely better than 1. So let me know what you think. Now, before we move on, make sure to go check out Energy. This is our recommendation for a portable, tough solar generator, and we say tough, we mean it. This is the same generator that has now won the SBIR Phase 2 contract with the U.S. Army. So if you want the exact same one, you can get that. There is another small batch of these that are now open to the public. This was one of our biggest affiliates when they were basically all selling to the public. They closed down for about 1.5 years for the military contracts. So we could not sell these. You go, and again, if you go today and the buy now button is not there, that means they have stopped selling it, and it's just a waiting game to see when they will again. So yes, if you want to get your hands on one, I would definitely get it sooner than later. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. It is reinforced with steel. It is modular. They clip together, so you can either have the head unit with just one battery, take it with you in your truck to work, power your tools or charge your stuff, or have power when the power goes out. You can have it with 1 battery, 5 batteries, or 40 batteries. That's how it's set up. So it's very, very cool. They click together like nothing. And then there's mods that can actually alter it. Again, a lot more stuff is coming for the Flex. So make sure to go check that out. The Flex Tactical at marfooglenews.com/energy, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. It's also water resistant, weather resistant, and again, reinforced with steel. And heaters built into every battery, so you don't have to worry about, one, inefficient batteries during cold, but working batteries during cold. So, all right, and then the EpiPen files go to public as Trump says he signed law authorizing the release of records. I know that this is really important, and I do want to see the whole release of this, but is anybody else in the same boat? Hopefully not a Venezuelan one, that is just so tired of hearing them say they're going to release it and then it's not, and then the argument and the debate about releasing it. It's really absurd. Dex, you know what I mean? Like, we've just heard about this for years now. And
Yeah, I'm hearing it from other people too. They're like, I'm so over
done.
saying they're so over it, and it's maybe that's part of the plan. Get everybody so over it that nobody cares anymore. Just drag it, drag it, drag it, and then it'll get buried and go away. And anything that's actually valuable in there, or anybody that could be still around to pay their dues for any damages they have caused to society, it'll just get washed away.
Yeah, I mean it's and this could be obviously everyone on social media. I've seen a really weird kind of turn on social media, and I think it's algorithmic manipulation. But it seems like every video, and this is odd because it was usually the opposite. I know that I'm getting manipulated through any swipe of any app, right? When it's going through those videos, it's feeding you something specific it wants you to feed. It would always feed me right-leaning stuff. And I don't actually like that. I like both. I would love to see one side of the argument and then see the other, because I am not somebody who just thinks that the other side, the left side, is just all crazy, all septum piercing wearing crazy nuts. But I do believe that both sides think the other side is crazy, and honestly, I rather see both sides. Like I'm old school. You used to be able to talk about politics, and then they'd go, "Oh, I voted for this person. Oh, yeah, I hate that guy. I voted for this one," and then you'd continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, look, there is a point being made here, and I don't care about which side is making it. I'll just put the point out there. You can figure it out yourself who it is. But they're saying, hey, by putting some of this stuff out, like who's going to want to come forward to Congress in the future, to provide information under the guise of whistleblower, or to be protected, saying their identity won't be revealed if you'll tell us what we need to know so that we can do things, which is what they're suggesting is in these documents. And by putting this out, all of a sudden you're going to have people say, well, I'm never going to trust talking to Congress or talking to a congressional committee or somebody like that if I had to do so behind closed doors for condition of protection, to know that, oh well, they'll just willy-nilly put my public information out there, such as undercover cops, undercover or private informants that are trying to be whistleblowers, etc. So that is a valid point. Like, you do want to have a notion, if you're trying to feed information into your system, whether you're a police agency, an investigative agency, or Congress or whoever, and you rely on confidential informants, you have to protect those confidential informants, or you're never going to get a confidential informant if they always think, hey, you're never going to protect me. Why would I talk to you?
Okay, well, protect the damn guy that blew the whistle, but put the guy that is caught and for sure doing stuff on the island. I understand redacting some names, especially a whistleblower, like the people that are tattling or not tattling, that are blowing the whistle on this thing. It's like, well, then protect them. I don't think any.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
It would be in the
get
context.
a whole bunch of redactions, and they're just going to say, "Well, it's all whistleblowers," and then we're not going to be able to believe it or know it. When in reality, they could just be redacting names they don't want they don't want anybody to know anything about, and they're just saying, well, "That's a whistleblower."
Well, you know how they do this and protect the context as well. Is they don't just do the name; they do the whole paragraph. Oh, because it consists of this whistleblower. The only thing that should be redacted is that name of the whistleblower, and you would see the context. This gentleman came forward and said this, or this woman came forward and said this. You would see, this, something, their name came forward and did this. You don't redact that other part. But what they'll do is they'll just do a whole paragraph and say within is the whistleblower stuff. The only thing that should be redacted, the name. If we get a whole file with all of these politicians, all sorts of people that are on this list, and actors and other people, every name is redacted, then there's literally no point. When they release this, if they release this unredacted and even protect the whistleblowers, they will have to be ready to charge and arrest everyone. I mean, that is really a big, big thing to think about. But yeah, he's saying now, I've done this to release them all. The Pam Bondi thing, it's just this back and forth It's like Pam Bondi wanted them released, and then she's, putting it against it. The 180 flip-flop, to me, it is just so shady. I mean, everybody, knows that our country is just shady as hell right now. And I wish we had transparency, because then we could stop talking about it. Speaking of transparency, I do want to talk about something that was not on the docket. I did watch that live stream of NASA, and I personally think that it is so much BS. There's channels on YouTube of actual astronomers, and they mentioned this in the live stream. They're like, we realize that there's people out there with great pictures and blah, blah, blah. So they admit that these people have actual pictures of Atlas, right? Atlas, this thing that's swinging around. They had a panel of 4 people on this that were obviously media trained, all 4 of them, ready for this moment. Every image they showed was blurry. They showed a spectrograph with like, this is like a blurry line, and see that little blob on the left? That means it has a tail. But every picture they showed essentially no tail, right? There's a big argument about if there's a tail or not, because it matters. If it's a jet, flying along, or if it's anti-gravity technology or something like that, it's not going to have this huge tail. Whereas some are claiming that the tail is actually coming from them processing it and essentially, doing contrast, and any little thing that's coming off of it, they're making sure to highlight that to make it look like it has a tail. Well, the people that are looking in the actual telescopes are saying that not only is it rotating vertical, it has this completely weird thing that it's doing, but it doesn't have much of a tail at all. So the pictures that they released were worse than the regular backyard people are now saying that those are actually legit. So, and then they had an excuse for everything. They said, this was because we had to stack many. We didn't have the right lighting conditions. We can't look at this way because it's towards the sun, or this. That the process, there's some of the information is still being processed, and that's why it doesn't look this good. It didn't make sense. And they mentioned like 9 different instruments that are out there taking pictures of it. And they basically said some are just like still processing from, a month ago. Some took it just recently and it's still processing. Whereas somebody that formerly worked for NASA even said the ones that they said are still processing are things that process almost immediately, like an X-ray. It's like that whole thing, everybody in chat's just saying BS. It's like thousands and thousands of people in the live chat saying, this is BS. There was one guy that made a comment and he said, quote, it doesn't look like a spaceship, so then I'm mad or whatever. But the thing is no, nobody believes it. Like, why would you believe that stream of anything? Now, for those of you that don't believe anything's going on out there, I don't blame you. I would love to hear your opinion on it. But watching that, I most definitely didn't believe the ones they showed, and they even like, yeah, well, we want to find life, but that's just a comment. It still, there's so many things that don't make sense, and then their pictures are so crappy. Hubble and all of these other things that can take these beautiful, crazy pictures, and they're taking these blurry, like cell phone pictures. That's what it looks like. I don't know. What did you guys think of the live stream? Did you watch it? And there's not much coverage on it. A lot of the aggregators and things like that didn't even cover it. So I paid attention to it. I was waiting for it at noon today. Noon my time, and 3:00 Eastern. They did that, and you can go watch the full thing. It was watchable, but it was like 4 or 5 pictures, and then they basically gave every excuse why they couldn't get clear pictures. They didn't show a single clear picture. This is NASA. We spent all this money, and there's no clear pictures. And these are things that are out from space. They even said that this is and then they gave us an excuse why you couldn't see the reasons why that they can see it and you can't is because you have to see it from out in space looking this way. And if you look from Earth, yeah, it looks like this, but no, it actually isn't if you're way out in space. I just thought they basically had every like half-ass reason that nobody can really verify why it they didn't prove it. And they can't actually show the disapproval. They're just saying that it's disproven. I don't know. And I've been a skeptic the whole time. So after watching that, I feel like they're hiding. And then not showing the pictures because of the government shutdown. Did you know that all 4 of those people on the panel were working the whole time? They could have done a freaking YouTube stream. Come on. Like, that's stupid. That is really, really stupid. They didn't go home. They weren't furloughed. They were working the whole time. I don't get it. All right, and then B&B Home, thank you for being here. We have Morning Breeze Entertainment, thank you for joining the fam. Chance Paladin, by the way, said, yeah, at least if you were on one of those Venezuelan boats, it would be quick. You would have the open ocean and then heaven. Yep, you were right. Electro, thank you for the super. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then thank you, Stephen Click. Says the way they talk about Atlas is so incredibly disgraceful and degrading. It actually makes me angry that they have the gall to say what they've done. Well, you know, the way they talked about it is just like laughing at people. It's like everybody in NASA does not believe in anything outside of our... And that's kind of funny. You really think about that. All the people at NASA are talking like they clearly do not... they give you the thing that they don't believe in outside life at all. And personally, I would think that they would put people in that are desperate to find, life beyond our planet. It almost seems like they know about life or things that are going outside of there, but they're telling you, oh no, we're not finding anything, if that's the case. Machine Opus, it's not the Earth, it's a soccer ball. And yes, well, it's kind of a blend because you do see water around it and everything else. But you're right, for the FIFA thing, as there are no other happy things, this may be a nod to timing as USA, Mexico, and Canada will host the World Cup in June 2026. So you're absolutely right. And again, we're going to cover that right now. So Machina Opus, as far as the World Ahead 2026, which again, not everybody does see, but I will say this. I do believe that this is important. And I can understand, like, you don't want to overreact about this. I'm not trying to freak people out about this. But when you look at this magazine and the kind of history behind it and really understand who really, really pays attention to this magazine, it's just odd that they do this every year and that every year there has been different things that have popped out. Now, last year's was very, very, very creepy. It was very dark and red and black. The one before that was the red and blue version, just like this. And I'll pull that up here in a second. But that one showed Shine Bomb before she was even put into place. That one was very interesting. It had all sorts of, future telling kind of things in there. And I'm not saying that they have a crystal ball. That's kind of exactly what I'm saying. They don't have a crystal ball. So, how are they putting so many things that are really hard to argue that they were just kind of taking guesses? Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that they do show the stitching in the circle for the soccer ball. If you look closely, you can see the stitching of the patches that make up the soccer ball. So some are suggesting that
double meaning.
Is it double meaning, or is it really, is there something going to happen at World Cup? Would that be, a Fantastic Freddy style event or something? I don't know.
Yeah. So I want to pull up so let's see here. Let me pull up, we're going to go to DuckDuckGo here. I wanted to pull up 2023 Economist. Oh, no. So every year, so 2024 actually came out in 2023. This year's is 2026. It comes out in 2024. So I think it would be the year 2024 Economist cover. And let's see here. Yeah, the world ahead in 2024. When we looked back and we looked at this one, I'll show you. This is half of it, but look, do you see this? This was before she was known about. And actually, if you look at her history, she is a climate scientist. She is not exactly Catholic, if you know what I mean. Most Mexicans actually did not know she was going to be the first fully Jewish president. She was running things. She has this history. If you go look at her Wikipedia, you'll go see and look. She was part of the PRD, the People's Revolutionary Democratic Party, that she started. And I think she met her husband there. But anyways, there were all these things that it's like she is definitely a globe kind of gal. So it's like they knew it was her before. And this magazine, it's put out stuff like that, and nobody knew she was going to win, but it put her in the box. I mean, it most definitely did. And if you don't believe that's her, go look at any side picture. Go look at that video of her being grabbed by the stranger just about a week ago. You'll see her turn sideways. You will know that is her. She even wears these pantsuit things with the collar like that. I thought that was just incredible. Because we did not know. If you go back to our breakdown, we're like, we have no idea who that is. And the piece, the olive branch, everything that happened. And then the cargo ship, they showed a cargo ship right before that cargo ship ended up hitting the bridge. And mind you, if that was a total accident and it just completely just hit the bridge, then that would be stupid to say. But people believe that that was hacked and that was some sort of sabotage and a test to be able to grab our cargo ships and turn them into ramming weapons, right? If you take out the bridges, you take out transportation. We just talked about how they're talking about in Europe moving all of these tanks across different bridges and how a lot of these bridges are not strong enough. So if there's only a few bridges that can take them, you take those out with a freaking cargo ship, then you've got yourself a stuck military. So I do think that there was a lot of odd things about it. And, there's a lot of predictive programming, but when I was much younger, I didn't believe in much of the predictive programming. And because it also then attached it to, they're just like, why would they put this out? Why? Like, that's just silly to think that they would do that. But I honestly believe that if you actually know what these kind of people like are in this circle, it's like a joke to them. These people are very just on a whole different level. The jokes and this culture, like if you're a part of any culture, you'll observe that they make certain jokes and they have kind of certain humors. Their senses of humors and their thoughts about us as a people is we are the dog crap on the bottom of their shoe, that we do not belong in the same place as them. That, they don't go to regular stores. They don't shop for themselves. They have somebody do that. And they would never go, the way they even middle class say, I'll never go into a Walmart. They say, I'll never go into any store because somebody else is doing that for them. They don't want you near them. They think you are an actual pesticide, a pest on this planet that needs to be, taken out by a pest control. So if you don't believe it, I would highly recommend looking at some of the kind of undercover videos of some of these elites talking. I mean, it's just incredible. They are disgusting and they hate us. And once you see more and more and more and more of those and you see them over 20 years, you go, man, these people are just horrid. And then you think about our government, they're in this same place where they're trying to get up to that point. That congresswoman complaining that she couldn't wear a $12,000 dress on a Tuesday because of the dress code, to say out loud that it's I'm surprised she didn't say, I have a very expensive dress and I can't wear it. She made the point, it's $12,000 for this dress and I can't wear it to work. You spent $12,000 to wear on a Tuesday. So you spend 12, 15, 10 for every day of the work week. You spend a Toyota on what you wear, and that's the person that's representing you. We've got a lot of things wrong with our world. This cover is very, very creepy. There's a lot of things here. I'll just point out a few of the things. It shows tanks all around the world. Soccer. They have red tanks, and if you think about it, they're on both sides, right? Left and right. They have blue, smaller ones. They have smaller drone tanks and things like this. And you know what? This makes me creeped out. That almost looks like a needle on a drone. And then they have, of course, a nuke being carried by vehicles. They have lots and lots of missiles. They have lots of locations, this little red symbol. They have robot dogs. They have robot bipeds. They have the dollar sign is broken. Dex, do you want to point out a few of the ones too that you saw, including that cargo ship is just absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah, the cargo ship's an obvious one, but it's clear, at least in my opinion, everything from the if you look at it from a war perspective, there's a lot more red winning over the blue. So I would say that's more China representation of China winning in this scenario. Of course, there's the pennies there, which are going away. There's the words at the top where they talk about certain things like weight loss or Ozempic or stuff like that, which then coincide with something like the needles you see down below. So it makes you wonder, is there going to be something used, to distribute things in those types of pharmaceuticals, since everybody is going to be wanting that type of stuff, especially if it becomes cheaper. When I say everybody, I mean everybody with weight issues, which is a lot of people in America. If they can just be given a handy pharmaceutical solution, they'll take it. And what else would come with that?
Yeah, and they have all sorts of different rockets. We actually, Dex, you pointed out that's Jeff Bezos' ugly rocket, right? The one that everybody questioned his live stream of the all women mission they did.
Yeah, phallic looking rocket.
Yep. And then there's a drone dropping bombs, right? You have satellite doing something, and it looks like that satellite is doing something to something underwater. It shows a submarine right next to you. You usually have within earshot something that confirms what you think it is, right? Because you have this thing with obviously a weapon strapped to a drone, and then you have the robot dog. So these are drones, right? This has go ahead.
I'm going to say the sail ship is from the Odyssey, and I've got a link for you if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Grab the link in up next. It's an article that you won't be able to see on The Economist because it's a subscription site, but you'll see the reference to the Odyssey in the same ship that they're showing there. And Homer's Odyssey, if you remember from school.
Oh yeah. We did an Odyssey trip in school where we went camping.
We never wanted to read. Yeah.
So I can't remember Odyssey, and I'm trying to remember the story of this. How would this play into
navigating through the Mediterranean and learning lessons of war and other things is my understanding.
So yet another reference to war, right? Yeah. Christopher Nolan made a version of Homer's The Odyssey. Oh, it opens in July. Well, I definitely have to see that. If you guys have never seen Interstellar, that is a trip and a half. Then you have to watch the videos breaking down everything about Interstellar. Dex, did you ever get to watch Interstellar? I would think.
Yes, I remember.
Did you know that everything in that movie, from the sound, like they land on a planet, the soundtrack does a clicking noise every 7 seconds, and that basically tells you mentally that every 7 seconds that the life on Earth has progressed 7 years. So when it goes by about 10, 15 seconds, you realize that everybody he knew died when he's in that planet in a different time frame. There were so many things about that movie. It's crazy. And for Christopher Nolan always does things that hides things in plain sight. Just kind of funny that they use that, right? Especially in 2026, he's putting out a movie called Homer's Odyssey, and it's by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, who is known for putting, some of that predictive programming and things into his stuff. So that's odd. I did not know that. That is definitely a must watch for me. Jared West, thank you so much. So thank you. And I believe I didn't miss anybody here. Stephen Click, and then Funny Doers International. It looks like Where's Waldo meets Andy Warhol. Exactly. And they have before too. It's pretty wild. And then S Coffee, thank you for gifting out another 10 badges. Again, I can't read all 30 names, but everybody that he just gifted a badge should definitely thank them. And then let's see here. With that cover, let me pull it back up here. I do want to point out that these kind of things, This is another thing. So these bipedal robots, I ran among this ad and I thought it was AI. I'm going to show you something. This is absolutely nuts. Dex, have you heard of Unitree? Have you heard of?
No.
Okay, so I ran into a Unitree ad and I wish I could show you the video. It shows a robot dog with wheels, and it reminds me. Do you guys remember the second Wizard of Oz? The I forget if it was monkeys or scarecrow. The monkeys on the wheels that were skating around and doing circles and doing skids. That's exactly what this robot dog is able to do. It shows it going down mountains, jumping over things, doing backflips. It even has it doing like a Tony Hawk. From just stationary, it flips, does a 360 back and curls in its legs and does a perfect flip and lands. They are selling these to schools in the simple forms for like 5,000 is the cheapest one you can get, very simple, all the way up to 65,000. But they have these bipedal robots. They have all of these ones. The ones with the wheels. Once you see a video of this, you will not. They can stop the wheels, go bipedal. These dogs can go bipedal, and it is insane. I did not believe it. Obviously, with all the AI, I was like, "This has got to be AI." These are real. Okay, their bipedal robots are just insane too. They have all sorts of different setups. Here, let me keep skipping. Here, look at these. And this is what people can buy. You've probably seen these. These were boxing, right? These are getting so crazy so fast. And I believe the bipedals are not as impressive yet as at least these ones aren't. But that robot dog, I was blown away. And it even says on the ad, it says, we please request that anyone buy this, because for $21,000 US, you can have one of these things put on there. You can have a robot dog with the wheels. The thing they say, we please request that nobody puts anything dangerous or modifies this dangerously or blah, 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 whatever. Basically, they're saying don't put weapons on its back, right? But the things it can do, it blew my mind. I thought it was AI, and I could not believe I asked Grok and ChatGPT. I just could not believe it. They are absolutely real. Go watch the Unitree promo video of the robot dog, and you'll just be, and make sure you get the one with the wheels. It was unbelievable. I was mind blown. And then I saw another video of Elon Musk showing off his bipedal robot. Elon Musk's human robots are getting crazy. He showed the robot dancing. This is coming at breakneck speed, and I am very afraid for the future. I'm afraid for my future, obviously, because honestly, all of these platforms are going to crap. Everything is AI now. You cannot tell the difference. Everybody's passing this fake crap. And I don't know if you guys are in the same Venezuelan boat as me, but Dex, are you tired of seeing just like having to question every single thing you see now? Like that's every video you go, is that real?
It's getting annoying.
I hate it. I honestly hate it now. Everything is fake now. And it's not that great. It was cool at first, but it's like now the people that are posting that, I'm annoyed by it. I'm like, I get it. It's interesting, but at the same time, it is, it now you question everything and not in a good way, right? I'm just tired of it. It's terrifying seeing Terminator come true. Yeah. And it's no joke. I don't think I saw their human robots box in Japan, and they're not that great. Those dogs though, hands down, the craziest thing I've ever seen. I thought it was a composite. I thought it was a video. It is real. Anyways, guys, go check it out. Thank your mods, Chance and Bobby Sue, the whole show. Thank you for being here, Bobby Sue. I appreciate that. And then make sure to go check out Harvest Right. Make sure if you go over and watch that Economist cover, make sure to tell us what you think in the comments down below. And then make sure to go check out Harvest Right. They have their Black Friday sale already. And while supplies last, you can, of course, get $1,000 off on some of their best machines. It makes the hobby extremely easy. Again, it's a set it and forget it, 24-hour cycle. Boom, you've got yourself freeze-dried food. So go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/freeze. Again, marfugglenews.com/freeze. At least go over and enter to win one. They are not cheap machines. These things are extremely well made. They are made like appliances used to be made. Once you have this, you can actually save a whole lot of money, especially if you have a family of 2, 3, 4, and you're trying to get 6 months to a year of food in your pantry, then this is going to be the way to do it. You will end up saving money in the long run. It will pay for itself. Again, go check it out, marfugglenews.com/freeze. And then also go check out their whole line. It's definitely awesome way to preserve food up to 25 years. All right, thank you so much, everybody. And I'm sure a lot of Marfoogle family members just got badges tonight. Julie Pilkerton just sent 5 badges as well. Thank you, and thank you. Thank you, everybody that's having a wonderful night. I appreciate you. Blop Jones, Wild Strawberries, W Ice Jen, thank you. Dex, thank you so much for your service today. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
Make sure to go check out the moderator team and our friends over on marfugglenews.com/friends. Their links, their Amazon's there. Chance, of course, has his book over on Amazon. You can go check that out. Bunker Basics and all sorts of others. Make sure to go check out our other friends too, like Jacob Israel and others. So go check them out. Love ya. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. It's not time for a shoutro. Or wait, dang it, I just messed it up. It's not a shoutro. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro.